Now, I want to highlight one of the things that really helped me kick off my entrepreneurial journey, which is unique because prior to starting the business that I have now, actually tried my hand in the restaurant business. While I was in business school, a buddy of mine, we raised some money together and we went out and acquired two restaurants. And the goal was to use the cash flow from those restaurants to then start to buy more restaurants so that we can scale up basically a cash flowing business. Ultimately, it did not work out that way because a couple reasons. The main one, however, was we didn't raise enough capital to weather the storm. So when the business got tight, there was some severe weather that happened in the area, in the Chicago area, that ultimately wiped out our cash flow because we weren't generating any sales and we just didn't have enough cash to go through with that. And then we just didn't have the best location, and they say that location is one of the most important things when you're in that business. And these are all things that we learned a little too late in the game, and ultimately we had to close those doors, sell the assets, and take on corporate jobs. Now, the second phase of my entrepreneurial journey was kicked off by a book that a buddy of mine suggested that I read, and it was called The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And I promise you, this book completely changed my perspective. It gave me, a true understanding of how you can use the internet, a website, to generate passive income that can become your full-time income, and how to implement the systems that are necessary so that you had a business that had skill built into it, where you weren't trading your time for your business. The business is basically kind of working for itself. And this book, the 4-Hour Workweek, just really honed in on that. Talked about how you can start with a blog and how you can find people to write for your blog, and how to use the different advertising systems that are available out there for you to help you get traffic to your blog and ultimately help you sell more products for your business. So, that really just kind of kick-started everything that I have going now. I'm full throttle into this whole internet thing. It's branched into a few aspects. We have e-commerce businesses, we have ad networks that we've built. We're also getting heavy into the crypto space. We do a lot for our clients on the web and app development side. So, a lot has evolved from my reading of that book, and I definitely think it's a must read for anyone that's trying to start out in the journey. Because even if you're not going to go neck deep into the internet stuff, just the importance of systems and establishing a process that will help you scale your business, I think, is super important for any entrepreneur to know and understand. So I throw that out there for you guys to definitely pick up that book. But now I want to take some time to just actually talk through that process from when I first started my first foray into this whole internet stuff. Funny enough, I was actually at an internet company. I was working for a company called TrueCar, which is still around, but basically they sell car purchasing data both to the car dealerships and as well to consumers, to just help people all around make better purchase and sales decisions in the automotive space. So I was in that seat where I got exposed to the importance of driving traffic and establishing a sales funnel and establishing a relationship with those people that visit your website, and how you can retarget them to get them to come back and ultimately drive through to a sale. And so it was in that space, and I was trying to figure out what I could do based on information that I already had at my disposal to create my own sales funnel and things that I could sell through to an audience. Now, I just so happened to play football in college, so I had quite a good amount of information around just that whole training process and what's required to become an elite athlete. And so I thought to myself, what would make sense, I think, is to sell information on how to run faster, jump higher, get stronger to make you an overall better athlete. And so I launched out with a platform, starting off with best football workouts. We started a blog that basically consisted of workouts that I used to do, written workouts that I used to do when I was playing college football and trying to get better. And so I took all these workouts, I compiled them into an ebook, and I started to find videos from all over the internet, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and compile those videos onto a website as almost like a repository of workout information for anyone that wants to become an elite athlete. Now, coupled with this website, I launched an Instagram page, a YouTube page, and a Facebook page. And lo and behold, people really started to, take a liking to this content. So I was able to build up an audience actually pretty quickly from these workouts and putting these workouts out there. And I would say within about 6 months, we had generated about 100,000 followers across the different social platforms that were, of people, both athletes and coaches and parents that were looking for this type of information to either make themselves or their athlete better. And so with that, we really start to see some great traction. I say we because I had a couple partners join me in this, and we started to see some traction. And from there, that evolved from just selling ebooks and advertising and affiliate links across the blog with the workouts to actually establishing direct supplier relationships with some equipment manufacturers in the space. So that included things like speed hurdles, speed resistance bands, different training equipment like that, primarily targeting football players and some basketball players. And we started to list these products on our website, and we found that that same audience that was buying the training information from us also started to purchase this equipment from us. And that just really led us down the path of establishing ourselves as a true e-commerce player and distributor in the sporting goods space, because it just so happened that our efforts here coincided with the shutdown of some very large major retailers in the sporting goods space. They call them the category killers, but those brands like Sports Chalet, Sports Mart, these companies started to shut down and pretty much left only the big players that were out there. And we're on the West Coast, so that includes like Dick's Sporting Goods, Big Five, retailers like that. And then you of course you have Amazon and your Targets and your Walmarts, but sporting goods is not the focus of these platforms. People purchase these items on these platforms, but it's not the focus of these platforms like it is for like a Big Five or a Dick's Sporting Goods. So we found an opportunity there because a lot of people all across the country, they no longer had their local sporting goods store that they could just show up to and buy those products that they need. So a lot of this business went online, and it was just right for us to start an e-commerce brand in this category. So with us listing these products and establishing these relationships with the manufacturers directly, that really opened up a lane for us to start to generate income from selling these products online. And it started with relatively low margins. I would say between 10 to 15% markup that we were getting on some of these products, to actually establishing ourselves as a wholesaler where we're able to fatten our margins a bit and really make a healthy business out of selling these products. Now, the thing I want to make sure that I do not leave out is I was doing all of this while I was still working at TrueCar. So I had a pretty demanding job. I was running the digital marketing division, targeting some large clients that we had, and working out specific marketing partnerships that we had established. And so, I'm doing this, I'm moonlighting and doing this and building this brand. So I'm working easily probably 10, 12-hour days with my regular job, and I was coming home and spending another 2-3 hours each night on this brand that we were trying to launch online, all while having, I think I had my second child, and so trying to manage being a decent husband and father, being present, but at the same time trying to launch this brand so that I could break free and start back on my path towards financial freedom. So I would be wouldn't be telling the truth if I didn't acknowledge like how difficult this was, because at this time I'm double-minded. I'm trying to think about what's best for the company that I was working for and the clients and the projects and things that they had to do, all while in the back of my mind I had all these ideas burning in my head to execute and establish my own brand so that I could break away as quickly as I could. Now I got to a point, I did this whole moonlighting phase for about 6 to 8 months, and it got to a point where it was really starting to take on so much time, and I felt as though that I was getting the traction that I needed, and we're generating the revenue that I thought we needed, and made sense for me to walk away from my job. Now, mind you, this was a 6-figure job. It wasn't crazy, but it was enough for me to live comfortably. And maybe with the brand, I was maybe bringing in $4,000 to $5,000 a month at this point. So nowhere near actually replacing my salary income. But, I was so eager to get back on the entrepreneurial journey and really just focus and push on this brand. By the time I hit that 8-month mark of trying to do both businesses at the same time, I decided that I was ready to walk away and quit. Now, I could look back on this and say that I definitely quit prematurely. But at the time, it was just, I was so eager to step out and really focus on the brand that I just walked into my boss's office one day, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna put in, I think I gave him like a 6-week notice. I was like, you know what, in 6 weeks I'm stepping away and I'm gonna go out on my own. And they were really cool and supportive about it, but they were pretty surprised also that I was walking away to focus on my blog and my e-commerce site. But nonetheless, stepped out, and I thought I was ready to really go after it. And little did I know, I hadn't saved up enough to weather those storms that come about when you're an entrepreneur. Because even though it was all good at the time, every business hits that point, what I like to call the J curve in its growth, where you're doing well and then you hit a valley. And if you don't have enough put away financially, if you don't have enough different revenue streams coming in for the business to sustain any hit to one part of the business, it can certainly cause you trouble. And that's surely what happened when we, I would say probably 6 months into me quitting my job, the new business, we hit a valley. And we weren't generating as much revenue, and I couldn't figure out why and what I was doing wrong at the time. But we hit this valley, and I was not making the money that I was making when I first quit, and it got pretty rough. I went from making 4 or 5, I think we're kind of knocking on the door of $6,000 a month, to revenue had dropped down to $2,000. And what I didn't account for was the seasonality that happens with e-commerce, specifically for our business, because I was, focusing on the sports realm, and our largest audience at the time was football, right? And so sports have seasons, and so when you're in season, you're not buying the same amount of product or sporting training equipment that you would purchase if you're getting ready for a season or if you're in your training season. And so I didn't truly account for this. So we hit, once football season really got rolling, we hit a trough. And I want to say it was closer to the December timeframe that this happened, and things got really rough. And so in my scrappiness and trying to figure out how to sustain, because I got a family, I got to make sure that I can provide. I had developed a skill set of building the webs, because I did all of the web building for our site and really getting into the code just from my experience at TrueCar. So what I decided to do was start to sell that expertise to other businesses that needed web help, social media help, digital marketing help, to help sustain my own personal situation. And that was, for the most part, the launch of our agency brand, Clicks Media. And so little did I know that was going to set me on the path of managing, two successful businesses. But at the time, it happened at a point of desperation and trying to figure out how to provide. And so we launched this, consultancy agency to help these clients. And I got some old colleagues that I used to work with to hire me as an agency, just so that I could sustain what we were doing. So we're doing web development. At the time, we weren't doing app development, but mostly web development and social media marketing. So I was people were hiring me to run their Instagram and Facebook page, for an account fee. And I did this for about a year, 2 years, while I was trying to also run this e-commerce blog that we had launched. And so it was definitely an interesting time, because I was trying to figure out what my purpose was at this time. I left my job to start this brand that wasn't doing as successful, or wasn't as successful as I thought it was going to be. And then I'm spending a lot of time helping other businesses with their own problems. And I felt like that was putting me back in a position that I was in my previous job, where I was mostly operating on the behalf and solving other folks' problems and trading my time for money, and not really focusing on pursuing my dreams and truly achieving that financial freedom. I wasn't getting leverage on my time. I was still trading my time for dollars. But this was all part of my journey and trying to figure it out. And there are times where, when the agency side of the business slowed up, I still had to have that income coming in. So I signed up for Uber, Lyft, Postmates, DoorDash. I did all those ride sharing and gig economy type jobs, Instacart. I did all of them, just to help sustain that income while the different businesses were going through their ebbs and flows. And every now and again, I would refer back to the that 4-Hour Workweek book. But what I was truly missing in what I was doing is I hadn't established those systems that I learned about in the book. I was implementing the tactics, as far as like driving traffic and having a website and content and doing all the SEO. I was definitely doing those specific tactics, but what I missed on was establishing those systems that were required to allow for me to replace myself and institute a process that didn't require me to be involved in the day-to-day, so I could focus more on bringing in revenue, bringing in more business, let the business work itself, and have me more so working on the business as opposed to working in the business. And then there's a difference, right? If you're in there doing everything day to day, all the execution, you're not giving yourself time to work on the business development, bringing in new clients, thinking about the strategy and direction of the business, because you're in the weeds of what it is that you're doing. And so that as I look back on it, that's what my issue was, and it was causing me to run on this treadmill. And I was pretty much in the same place that I was in when I was working my job. I was trading my time for money because I hadn't created those systems. Now, I had a mentor tell me one time, he's like, millionaires create businesses, but billionaires create systems. And that stuck with me because he said that at a point, maybe 2.5 years into my journey, and I realized that was my issue. I'm still in this sort of small business mindset where I'm working in the business every single day, and I haven't created those systems that are required to allow for me to scale and really grow what we're doing, bringing in more clients every single day and giving people on my team the opportunity to thrive and help push the business forward. So if there's anything that I could leave you guys with to round this out is, figure out, once you've figured out what it is that you want to accomplish, figure out your process, figure out your system to help you achieve that goal, and figure out how you can empower those that are around you, so that you're spending less time on the actual functional execution within your business, and you're spending more time on being the visionary, the leader, the business development person, being that main salesperson for your business, representing your business so that your business can actually grow. And so that was my biggest thing that I wanted to just share, because I can easily say I probably missed out on 2.5 years of growth because I wasn't focusing on that. I was so entrenched in the actual day-to-day, doing the coding, doing the writing of the blogs, listing the products myself, fulfilling orders myself, that I wasn't giving my business an opportunity to really breathe and grow. And I was actually serving as the bottleneck to my business, such that we were staying in the same place and running on the treadmill. So, that's my advice to you guys. Definitely figure out your process, figure out your systems, constantly think big picture. Make sure that you hone in on the details and your details are right within your business, but yet you establish that process in that system to allow for you to scale your business. All right, guys, thanks for joining us here today on the Hustle Report. We appreciate you giving us your time, and we'll see you on the next episode. We out.